Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time. It's time to update the character tier list. We have Meilin Fisher, and this is where the tier list is at right now. For the most part, I've kind of left it the same. I've just kind of rearranged a few characters around, but everyone's kind of still keeping their rank. But Meilin Fisher, she's been out for a couple of days now, and I've had my fun with her. I've got her at A3, of course, and I feel comfortable on where I want to place her within the tier list. And so with that being said, she is one hell of a support character. I think that's fair to say, since majority of us have kind of given Meilin Fisher a good response of how great of a character that she truly is. In terms of those that are still unsure on whether or not if you want to actually go for the character, I've said it before and I'll say it again. As long as you get the initial copy of this character, that's more than enough. You realistically don't need to go for dupes. If you do have Alicia and you want to cater more for her to do more damage, then A1 is the sweet spot. But just in general, A2 is kind of going to be the sweet spot. So if you can get like an A2 Meilin Fisher, then you're chilling. But regardless of furthermore going into dupes, as long as you get her A0, you are good. If you want to not summon and save for the next character, you can do so. She's a fantastic support as long as you have access to the initial kit herself, so A0 is perfectly fine. Now, Meilin Fisher, obviously with the way that she's been built and the way that she's coming across, is she's catering more for supporting Alicia and supporting more for the core meta. Right now, the developers are pushing for the core meta strategy because, of course, Alicia being the main DPS, and we got Task or Meilin Fisher and whatnot. Even going into the next update, we're going to get a core weapon, so that's kind of what we're well, that's kind of like the meta on what we're having to deal with. And so with Meilin Fisher right now, she is a fantastic support in terms of the many buffs that she can provide, which is the only support that does all of that. With majority to all of her skills, of course, it's applying something to benefit us. So obviously on skill 1, you've got the cutter bottle effect, making it so that the enemy takes more damage from water units, of course. A little bit of healing there, can't go wrong with that. With the pour, or the what's this called, up, there we go. With that attack in specific, obviously it increases the core attack. If you have it to A1, then you can furthermore push the increase on core attack for Alicia by 32%. So that's kind of why A1 is kind of like a sweet spot in terms of that. But the key factor here is this is where you are removing shields. Removing shield instantly, no matter how many shields the enemy have, they can have 50, 100, whatever. It is all removed from this skill. This is the key component that is actually making Meilin a very important key character going forward. The shield removal. I'm pretty sure she's the only character that can apply this, of course. So it's very vital to have access to this, because obviously we've already seen it within the workshop Brilliant Light when it comes to the final stage of Vulcan. That man puts up God knows how many shields, like I don't know, 30, probably more, I'm not too sure, but a hefty amount. And so there's two ways of going about it. You can, if time is on your side, you can kind of, you know, power through it, but if time is not on your side, then unfortunately, you know, it's not going to work out the best. Or Meilin Fisher can just completely remove it. And that is the case for most who have access to Meilin Fisher. So that is a huge thing for Meilin, to have complete shield removal, not only on her skill 2 for the hunters, but it's also on the support skill. Now, the support play from Meilin, I will say, I love. There is so much going on. It's going to be a tough one. Well, I mean, to be fair, I do prefer Meilin support play over Min's in terms of if I'm running my Jinwoo, because I've got shield removal, I've got health restoration instantly rather than over time, and I'm getting a 16% increase attack as well as a 16% damage decrease buff. So there's just a lot on the table, and it's on for 16 seconds, by the way, with the buffs, of course. So there's a lot being provided on the table. In terms of Min, when it comes to healing, it's 1% every, you recover 1% of his HP every for the max 10 seconds, and then you've got the punishment debuff where it allows you to do 15% more damage on the enemy. So to be fair, you can really stack up on running those two units together as two supports for Jinwoo. I mean, that could work out beautifully. So there's something that to cater to. But in terms of the support skill, her support skill is stacked, and I love it. Obviously with the QTE, unfortunately, before it did heal, but I think they changed it, so that's unfortunate. And then going furthermore onto the ultimate, of course, doing AoE damage, but you're getting an attack increase, you're getting a defense increase, you're getting a crit rate increase, you're getting a core damage increase, you're getting a damage reduction buff. There's just too much going on with that ultimate for you not to have access to it. And in terms of buffing, again, it's the only unit in the game that's providing that many buffs to help out the hunters. Unfortunately, Jinwoo won't effectively get all of this. He only gets the attack and damage reduction, but outside of that, all your other hunters can really benefit from that. Again, if you get it to A5, then you can bump it up to another 8%, making it at a total of 16% across the board for every single one of those buffs. So like with the water attribute team, it is a complete like you've got the full complete package now. You've got the Alicia, you've got Jiwoo, who's obviously doing the breakage and providing shield, as well as now Meilin, who's fully not just supporting Alicia, but she is somewhat supporting Jiwoo in terms of in the damage department too. That's something to take away. Now, in an overall team usage, she can be used, but it's kind of it's more being used for the ultimate than it is anything else. Because obviously with the Cutter Puddle effect, it's more for the water typings. With the Pour, it's more for the core damage users. So realistically, in an overall team basis, it is the ultimate and is what you're truly trying to cater to. So it's okay in an overall team, but I will say it's heavily more catered to Alicia, doubling up with her at the very least, or running a water team, of course. Now, obviously, it's a fight between her and Min, realistically, being the two supports, of course. I mean, you got Park also, but Min right now is kind of like the favored support in the game, and realistically, between the two, who do we favor more? Who do we prefer more, of course? Now, it's difficult to say since they, I mean, well, yes, they're both supports, but they run in two different ways, of course, especially with how Meilin has come across to support the meta of being core as well as be Alicia's buddy. In an overall aspect, if I had to choose between the two, I would probably cater more towards Min, as I have access to an A5 Min, of course. The buff that they've recently provided him in terms of the power gauge, it makes him as a power gauge generator, making it so that skills are always at the ready, ults are always at the ready, one after another, and you can kind of build that up. And if I have his A5, then that just fully makes it so that I can do a large amount of damage one after another every rotation, of course. Obviously Chai-Yen is kind of like the perfect buddy for him, of course, but even outside of Chai-Yen, Min just works with any high DPS character in terms of being that power gauge generator, to then allowing them to do a hell of a lot more damage on their ultimate, as well as still catering to the whole crit meta side of things, of course, which is still another great meta that is still in high effect, of course. That's not going to go anywhere, of course, so there's that. So between the two, if I had to choose in an overall manner between on who I would take, if it was with Alicia, 100% Meilin. But I think in an overall aspect, I would probably still cater to Min. That's just my personal look at it. I guess also if it's in a water attribute, then it's a no-brainer than Meilin. So there are specific terms of when I would take Meilin, but Min as an overall, it's just how they've made his QTE skill and how much of a big of a generator he is. I said it before and I'll say it again, they did kind of shoot themselves in the foot by making this Min the way he is with the buffs. It's crazy, but that's my look at things. But Meilin is still a fantastic support that I would, highly suggest to at least get her at E0, making it so that you get the initial copy. And so through that, of course, where do I find her within the tier list? And I think it's a no-brainer on where I would want to class her. So yeah, she's up there with Min. She's most definitely up there with Min. When it comes to supporting her attributes, in terms of the amount of buffs that she's applying, fantastic character. In terms of, I will say this though, like when it comes to running Jinwoo, if I had to pick the supports, I would definitely go for Meilin, 100%. If I could run two, which you can, I would run two of the supports. I do hope that with the Season 2 happening right now, with Battle for the Time, I'm hoping that there's a boss that potentially I can run actually these two supports. That'd be fantastic to see, but it does work out beautifully now, yeah, with the buff. I mean, we can really go Min, Meilin, and Chai-Yen. Oh, that'd be pretty something. That would be pretty nice, potentially, maybe. But anyway, that's pretty much all that I really wanted to talk about. She's a fantastic character, shield removal, Alicia's buddy, the perfect water attribute support, and in an overall basis with every other team, she's okay, I would say. But yeah, I think that's how I am currently looking at things and where I would class her with me experiencing my Meilin. So there's that.